All right, everybody, we're going to be bringing on our next speaker, none other than Michelle Vaughn. How are you?
I'm great. I had to change clothes because I spilled something on my shirt.
I thought maybe you were trying to be like you were on the Grammys or something. You had to change the wardrobe every appearance.
I looked down, I got like food all over it or something. How is I've been listening in all day. It's been, of course, a crazy day in general, just like every other day in the business. But I've been listening to some amazing advice from some leadership that it's amazing if you could just listen to these girls or these ladies, these leaders, and implement everything that they're telling you. So it's we're gonna go into my little recruiting and how to make sure that you're putting in the effort to create a brand and how to recruit without recruiting. And that's kind of what I'm gonna be going over today.
Yeah, I think it's important. It's important to have a, like they were just talking about, she said it's important to have a culture that people, like, but it's also important to have, a personality that people are attracted to. And, like we talked about with you before, not everybody is going to be attracted to your personality in life or online, and that's okay. Right. You're going to go to a public gathering, a party, there's going to be people there that don't like it. Just, so it's okay to be real online because, people aren't going to like you, but, a majority of the people are going to connect with you based on, their personality.
Exactly. Yeah, I think it's kind of just that the authenticity. It's such an overused word nowadays, but it's such a real word that, to me is something that I've always valued in my social media presence, and just in my life itself. And that'll kind of bring me into, I'm not doing a PowerPoint. You'll know I'm just kind of one of those wing it people, so I am kind of watching for comments. I'll probably stutter more if I actually plan for this, but I have a lot of key components that I want to go over, that just how I got to where I'm at today, and how, building, not only because I'm not one to build just numbers. Like my empire, so to speak, is not just about numbers. It's about really good, solid people who believe in the brand and what I want to accomplish for home ownership ultimately. And so, to me, it's about finding people who are truly believe in the same exact things and the way that I want our culture to continue on to help people achieve home ownership. That's the bottom line of it all. And so, you go back to 2 years ago, whenever I decided to open this business, I was really got a burnout. And I was to the point where, we were higher price fees, we were higher price rates. I was like having to give business down the street to a broker. And I'm like, okay, I got to figure out what's going on here, because I had always been on the retail side, stumbled into the community of Brawl now, which is Brokers Are Better, AIM, and just really saw the fire in the leaders, in all the leaders of the group, and just the passion that people had for the business and the change. And it was along the same lines that I wanted for my business, to build the consumer for life, to really connect with your consumers, to really to basically just lit a fire in me. I lost you get beat up so many times on the street, you're like, oh, I'm tired, And so I really just got to a point where I was like, okay, I can do this. And, I never really had the vision or the goal, like growing up. I never thought I thought I was gonna be an actress in New York, let's be realistic. But, so I never really had like the goal of owning my own mortgage company. That was not what happened. And I kind of went into it with I'm just going to be a one-woman broker shop. There's plenty of successful one-woman broker shops and one-man broker shops out there, and I'm just going to go with that. Well, as I started to peruse the groups, because groups are huge in the mortgage business, I like them, I like to create them, and I like to squash them when they're not good, because something that is so good can also bring negativity. So people know that, like, I'll create a whole new group. If morale is not going great, I'm going to make a new one, because we're going to keep it positive, we're going to keep it educational, we're not going to be bullies. That's just not who I am. It's not what I want in my life. And so I started a few little, part of, I think all the mortgage groups started a few of them, you build up camaraderie. And then I noticed like just the knowledge that I had for doing loans themselves. Okay, how to put together FHA streamline, what's in a VA loan, how to calculate this, so I started having multiple loan officers from across the country just reach out to me and be like, hey, look, the advice you gave on this scenario was so helpful. Would you mind looking at this loan scenario for me? And I was like, sure. So I started to go in and really just try to help as many people as I could. So then I started creating like mini groups. Okay, this person wants to learn how to do this part. And so anyway, it all just kind of came across. So then one day I'm like, okay, there's 20 people asking me the same question. I'm going to make a Zoom this week. This happened a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, almost 18 months ago. And I'm just like, I'm going to make a Zoom. If you want to learn about this topic, get on the Zoom, free. It's an hour. Let's talk. I'm not the expert in all things. So if you have great advice to give, go ahead and do it. And there was a few people like Melanie Wahlberg, Bill Stevens. We were on the call every single week. We just started committing to being there every Friday. And then it started to grow. So more people started to learn, hey, look, we learned what the file processing was, how to get a straight close at UWM. Like, so we started just to evolve, and I started coming up with new topics. Christopher Griffith with Eddy B.Y.E. Before that was born, he was on our Zoom call, like educating people about how, the veteran loan process. And so we kept just, it just kept growing and growing. And then all of a sudden, Laura Brandao, we need to learn about one-time construction loans. And, we had Matt Ishby on the call several times, and Eddy Perez. And, we started having all these, not only, me and other loan officers who specialize in certain things. We had all these other industry leaders who were contributing their time. And, it really was, at that time, it was a really great thing that brought me closer to hundreds and hundreds of loan officers across the country. And so I did it all free. Like, I didn't charge anything. That had no intent of getting money or gaining anything. I was like, I like doing this. I like talking about mortgages. So I went ahead and, like I said, I started organizing. It became bigger, and we were doing all those things. And, that evolved to where for the next 12 months, so it was like 6 months of that. And then the next 12 months, I realized I was helping other LOs more than I was helping clients, right? And so business started to, regardless of like personal stuff, everybody kind of knows my personal life, and what most people who follow me knows that, I moved to Philadelphia last year, and, something for me and my kids just through a personal scenario, and we overcame that situation, and then we opened a business here, and then we grew even more. But with all that being said, as I was going through this transition, I was starting to help loan officers more than I was helping my clients, but I realized like I was spreading myself too thin. And I was like, wait, I actually enjoy, being this advisor to other loan officers rather than the one-on-one. Because once you hear yourself talk for 20 years or 18 years about the same topic with the FHA loan and bring your earnest money to buy, you start to become in a rhythm, and that's where I think that burnout came, where I wasn't evolving because I was constantly giving the same speech to this. You get tired of hearing yourself say the same thing to hundreds of clients all the time. And so I started to realize that my passion was into helping other loan officers, helping them how to grow their business. And I was always kind of the guinea pig. Whenever Arrive first came out, I was like, I'm all on board. Let's do it. That's our POS, our LOS, and it's about to be our badass CRM. And so, we've had a lot of hurdles with that. There's been a lot of like going through the ringer with it, but then, we've kind of ridden out and learned and grew with this program that was developed for us. And, it's now an amazing tool that we get to use for all incorporate, to incorporate our whole business. So anyway, so as anytime anything would come up, hey, can you come to Fort Lauderdale? Hey, can you come to Vegas? Hey, will you do this? And I was just like, yeah, I'm there. Hey, yeah, you want me to do this? Or if somebody had a question at 11 o'clock when I was in the bed, it's usually one of the first, there's many of us in there, but hey, yeah, try this solution or work it this way. And so as I was going through the motions, I realized that I was spending more time doing that than actually doing the originating part from last year. And that's when I realized that I had to start to readjust. I kind of went back into my focus mode of originate. I was like, build up as much capital as I can. Here's what I've learned from my leaders. The first thing I got to do is got to make the plan, figure out how big I want to grow, how many people do I want on board. The second thing I got to do is I got to build the capital to hire ops. So that was my first big step. A lot of people see, oh, look, I have this onslaught of loan officers right now, but I had that plan, 6 months ago when I started hiring ops to say, okay, this is first we get the ops down, then we get this, and then you go from there. So that's how I kind of worked it. I listened, I participated, and then I was like, okay, these are how these leaders are doing it. And then I made the plan, I built the ops, and then now we're into recruiting. And a lot of these women have been in the broker world for a long time. I am in the trenches of the stuff right now. So I am, revamping ops. I am figuring what LOs that are fitting with my model or not fitting with my model. I'm doing all those things today. So like you're finding me right now in the trenches of how, it's like I said earlier, it's about failing forward. You're not going to go in a straight line. You're going to hire somebody. You're going to realize, okay, this isn't the way we perceive this to go. Let's make a new plan. We do it again. We may fail again. We're going to keep going. And so that's why I tell people you cannot, and it's hard. I am emotionally connected to this business, probably greater than I am a lot of things in my life. And it's really hard because it's an emotional business already. You're dealing with heightened senses from all people around you, the listing agents, the buyer's agents, the buyers, everybody is waiting on you. You're the star of the show. So you already have that major emotional connection to make sure that you're delivering timely. In a pandemic, with all these hurdles, we're still looking at growth. We're still going, how can we help this LO? What plans do we implement? And then I went back, even now I've just hired a business coach to work on me, to work on my professional development. So I think that work never stops. And I think that's really important. So let's go back to, I went through the making a plan, build up the capital, hire ops, then go with your sales. I would say that's the most important thing that you have to work on. The second thing I wanted to touch base about is showing up. Because just like we talked about with AIM, and with all the group, with all the groups, showing up and being present, investing in the mastermind, investing in Vegas Fuse. I think I missed one show last year, one of the AIM events due to an illness, and go to all the events you can. Invest in yourself. Listen to the leaders. There's many leaders on that platform. If you don't agree with what one of them says, find another one. Connect with the good of the group, because I think, a lot of times we get into a, oh, thanks. You are so sweet. So we get into a groove of constant negativity because we're behind a computer screen and we don't realize I try to be the helpful person in the group. I don't know if you'll notice that, but if sometimes I'll get a little smart ass or whatever, but for the most part, I'll notice somebody will ask something and you have a bunch of people who are just degrading to them. But if you can just be that one person who is, hey, look, this is maybe why you aren't making this is maybe why you aren't connecting these dots, or try to be a positive influence on people. Just because people don't believe or see the way that you necessarily perceive things doesn't mean that it's going that they're wrong or you're right. Because I will tell you this, I will never go into anything thinking that I know it all, because I know that whatever I do know today is going to change tomorrow. So we have to look at, one, I would say, being a part of the community, being a positive part of the community, because a lot of people take on that bully mentality. And, I don't personally like to see that in the group. So you want to be there for that person if you see that going on. And then go for it. Ask the questions, be vulnerable. I asked a million questions when I first started. They were probably we are tired of approving this person's post. But that only encouraged other people to reach out to me and either help solve my problems, give me advice, tell me they're having the same issues, hey, I'm working on this angle, you work on that angle. I would say a big part of it is the community and the growth for me. So one, I would say if you're not a part of AIM, or, I would say definitely become a part. And if you don't connect with everyone, that's okay. The biggest thing for me is take the good out of the groups that you can, and then throw away the rest. Because there will always be that. So that's the big thing. Let's talk about it. If anybody has any questions for me, y'all let me know, because I'm all about the Q&A thing. Like I'm used to that on the Zooms and stuff, where I'm always just kind of, I speak at the cuff. But I'm trying to remember some other things I really want to talk about. So we talked about AIM. So let's talk about the growth of the actual business and what I actually did, because I think that the forefront of it. So I connected. I think this is very important, because Bill Stevens was a huge. He's somebody I saw as always putting the association and himself before others. And it's something where Bill and I connected very early on. Bill is on all of my Zoom calls for the most part. And, we had talked about building a partnership for a long time. And we weren't ready. I wasn't ready. He wasn't ready. It was kind of going back and forth. But I want to say that I really think that the vulnerability and the genuineness is what brought us together. Not only, yes, he's working with Paradise as I'm a leader, but he's also a leader in my mind. And so what I'm trying to do is partner up with leaders who have that vulnerability and who have the genuineness to help other people. And it's not something that you have overnight. So these are relationships that we've developed over, like I said, I think this idea sparked 18 months ago. And then we went all in on trying to help as many people as possible. And so let's talk about that, because I've had a lot of people, somebody will message me, hey, can we talk about your growth? I'm like, yeah, sure. Here's my number. And so I get on the phone, I talk, and I'm like, I really believe the biggest part of my growth is that I try to help other people. And I'm naturally a giver, and I want people to succeed. I am one that I will love to cheer you on. I want you to be better. I want you to be bigger. I want you to grow. I want you to be a happy person. And so, sometimes when I get off the call, I was talking to Laura about this the other day. Sometimes when I get off the call, the guy or the girl was like, so this is my advice. My advice is be a giver. And it's so difficult when you're talking about this, is because it's not like you don't set out, like, you see what I'm saying? Like you don't set out to go, oh, I'm successful because I get it. It's kind of it's backwards. You can't do it like that. Like, you have to genuinely want other people to succeed. And I believe in that with all my heart, that if Bill succeeds, if Laura succeeds, if Eddy succeeds, if Jamie succeeds, if Ginger succeeds, then we all raise each other up. There's no competition in my mind. There's no, there's nothing there that if their success would hinder my success. It would only do the opposite. And so I think because I believe in such that culture, that, if my LOs become, just like I said on the 5-minute thing, call my LOs. I want them to have the spotlight, because they have so much to offer versus what it's not just about me. And so I think if you truly have that mindset, and it's really hard to teach it. So that's when I went back and I said, sometimes when I get off the phone, I can just hear the people are like, yeah, right. Michelle, like, okay, so you were a giver and now you got these people that want to work for you. And I get that it's not something that you can turn on and overnight you're going to have 10 loan officers on your books. Like, I get that. It's something that I think just naturally that came to me. So here was my advice whenever somebody literally told me, okay, that doesn't make sense. So my next advice was show up every day in the groups, not just when there's a Massachusetts referral and you're going jump at that. Teach other people how to structure a loan that you might be really good about. Send an encouraging word to the group about whatever's going on in your community. Show up to I'm going to miss it right now, but right now you have the live meeting with AIM, the sales meeting. I go to them every week. I have it in my calendar to show up to the live meetings whenever people are going live. not because I don't have enough work to do. It's because I'm learning, I'm educating myself every single day. Whenever you show up, you are not going to go wrong. You may not walk away that minute with something, but something's going to spark that motivation in your mind. You're going to get an idea. You're going to be walking to the grocery store and you're going to go, oh, here's how you solve it. And that's how I do all the time. I'm constantly trying to listen to those advisors and figure out what's the next best step. So I would say that's my biggest goal for that. Oh, here we go. Question. What are you doing to educate customers? What are you doing? Well, so I'm going to stop and go to Ginger's comment really quick because I think it's very important. I have, what I used to do is I used to do weekly lives prior to the Zoom calls. Right when Facebook gave me the live button, I was like, let me press this thing and find out what's going on. So I went live all the time on my Facebook for consumers. And it really started. I noticed every time I went live, I would have 3 or 4 new good applications. So then I was going live constantly. I had Michelle's Mortgage Minute of the Week. I was truly implementing education about mortgage insurance, about homeowners insurance, about, all the different pieces and parts. I had weekly classes on Facebook. As I have gotten out of originating loans myself and going more to advocating loan officer part, that is something that is lacking in our business. So that is something that as these loan officers come on board, we will start to implement. My YouTube channel is basically about LOs and LO education. And so that's, again, whenever I kind of regrouped and I reset, I was like, wait, I've changed my mindset. As 3 to 4 years ago, you'd see me on the Facebook all the time. I would go live. I would say, hey guys, you want to learn about mortgage insurance today? And then we would just go at it. I'm usually in my basement. I'd be on my outside, like it didn't matter. I never did the prep thing. We do live Q&As. Whatever it is, I felt like consumers were worried about or interested in, I was going on live and talking about it. But as I've transitioned in the last 18 months or so to becoming more of an advisor to grow my own loan officers, that is something that I want to pursue my loan officers to start doing education at least once a week, getting those videos out to get their faces familiar, with everything that's going on. Yes, I need to do that. There's like I said, Ginger, I've learned so much from all of y'all calls today because, that as a business owner, especially and I'll go into that really quick because, time, we only have 24 hours in a day and I need 8 hours of sleep to be decent. And so, I'll tell you this, it's hard for me because, in my brain, I can accomplish so much. I want so much. So what I hired a business coach for recently is because I've got to, 1, finish my business plan, but I need to start focusing as you going into different states, as you're going into it in MLS, as you're hiring. I just recently did a Pennsylvania audit. So I had a Pennsylvania audit. Then you have, NMLS, you've got the IRS, you've got CFPB rules, you've got anti-money laundering training, you got to get your compliance, so I know I miss my Zoom calls too. We'll start doing them another day. So as you have all this coming at you, and when you're first starting out, like me, just building in multiple states, because I have 3 states total, Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Louisiana, and then I have 2 pending. And so as you're doing all this and you're realizing I got to redo this, and I've kind of done all this hands-on because I want to know and be a part of each section. So now let's go regroup and go, okay, I'm now getting too big for my britches. So I'm going to have to start hiring. And now that I've gotten the first few under my belt, definitely something I'm going to outsource to getting the new states on board. Like I said, I'm still in the deep trenches of this, of getting my Gusto employment policies done, of just all of those type of things. They take up so much more of your time and resource. And so again, we have these ops staff that I built up, and then as we're adding sales, it's very difficult to juggle all of the different hats that you have to wear, because I'm my auditor, I'm my payroll person, I'm the and so as you're just starting out, I'm the leader for my LOs. I'm the leader for my processing team. I'm the, advocate. My AEs text me on the regular. I have a very good relationship with all of our lender partners. So those are things that I really paid attention to and really did over the past year and a half, was to make sure I solidified all that part. And then now I'm like, okay, so now we got to duplicate Michelle. So now we got to take what I did for 15 years, make it successful over to multiple people with multiple different personalities. Wait, what are you doing? Oh, that's great. I love you, Ginger. You're so sweet. We'll have to get on a call one day. So it's very difficult as we go, as you grow. You're like, some days I do want to scream, and then I do scream on social media. I hear me like y'all are, and they're like, it's gonna be okay, and I'm like, I know, I'm gonna cry about it right now. I'll wake up tomorrow and kick ass. So that's just what I do, and it's not easy. And so like I'll have people, and I love being inspiring, and sometimes you can get in your own head where I have so many people that's like, you inspire me, but then as where my vision is to where I am today, I'm not even close. So I beat myself up about it. I'm terrible about that. And so again, that's why I have a coach now. And so to work on the me, because sometimes as a overachiever, you can become a person. And I know we went like way off here, Laura, but you never know where you're going to get with me. But when you're an overachiever naturally, and you're kind of always high functioning, there's a lot of times you never live up to who you are in your own brain. So like I have all these people that's like, oh, you're so inspiring and you're great and da-da-da. And it's like, if I don't believe it, and it's not that I don't believe it, I know the actions, I know the discipline, I know what I've done to take it. But sometimes you just have to, what my goal and what my visions are, and then where I'm at right here. It's a emotionally thing to overcome, how to get to that next step without beating yourself up for all your failures to get there. So that's why it's really important to me. And I try to wake up every single day. I read my inspirational quotes. I tell myself that, I'm a hardworking woman, and, stuff takes time, and states, bringing on more states and bringing on more loan officers and learning. They trusted in me to learn how to be a better boss for them. And so, like I said, I'll never make it without them. Each individual person that I've chosen, whether they're still here or not, has got me to the next level on how to become better. And so, I can go on all day about that, but I want to go back to the premise of this, of I want to be a better boss, and I got people lined up waiting to be at LO, and I wish I could tell you that the steps were easy or a straight line. I wish I could tell you, I do think in my heart of hearts, I believe I got here because I was such a giver. I believe that it's because I'm a cheerleader. All the things that you guys have said, because I publicly thank those leaders ahead of me all the time, because I'm constantly appraising and appreciating those people who work with me and for me and beside me, because it's every single little thing y'all are talking about. I'm like, oh wait, I do that. Oh wait, I do that. And so, y'all, I just kind of go with it. I go with my gut. I lead with I lead with inspiration. I lead with the knowledge that I'll work harder than every single person on my team as much as possible. And then again, so let's go back to showing up. So if you're not showing up to the conferences, if you're not showing up to the weekly sales meetings, if you're not showing up to these events, if you're not, it took me a while to hire a business coach, so I'll give you that one. But if you're not at least considering it, I probably had to talk to Christine like 10 times, and because I'm hard-headed. And so, I had to let go. And so finally I was like, I let go. Sometimes I do it a little bit too late. Like I said, as I'm growing here, I'm learning like all that. Okay, let's talk about the actual strategies and who I've hired to help me. And let's go with that for my last 20 minutes. All right. So I started off for our LOS, our POS, and our CRM. What do I do to stay so disciplined? I don't know. It's in my heart. Like I'm hard on myself. I'll tell you that. And so there's the balance that I was talking about. Is this dream of mine is bigger than anything else. It means more to me than anything else. And I struggle. I am human. I'm a woman. I have emotions. I am also genuine. I care. I want to be there every day. So, it's the discipline part. I think I've just always had it in me. I was one of those at 14 years old, I begged to get a job. I couldn't even go to work yet. It was at a tanning salon. And at 14 years old, they didn't do the work permit or anything yet. And I was like, I want to work for you. And he was like, can't hire you yet. When your 15th birthday, it was like 6 weeks away. And I was like, I'll work for free for 6 weeks. So that way on my birthday, I can really work for you. And then you can pay me. And literally I went to work for free for 6 weeks until they legally allowed me to work. So I think one, it's always been in me. And then two, I think that I want better for my life. I want better for my kids' lives. I want better for my family. I want better for Vaughn. I want my mom to not have to worry about things. I think just going back to that giving nature is, I've had a lot of people who know me personally, I have a lot of things on my back all the time. And regardless of what's ever been thrown at me, I just kind of put it on my back, got up and worked harder the next day. So, but I do want to get back into the system thing. So let's talk about what I actually use, because this is questions I get all the time. So we use Arrive, which is our point of sale, our loan operating system, and it's the CRM. And that CRM is being developed and it's fabulous. Arrive is no longer free in the fall. They posted that recently. I didn't even look at it, but Arrive to me is built just for a broker. You're able to price out, the top 5 lenders in there that you're signed up with. They have more, but I only use AIM lenders. That's the second thing is whenever the lender said partner with AIM lenders, I only partnered with AIM lenders. And there's an AIM lender, I'm going to build them up. They're not always necessarily going to be ready for my business or my type of business, or I might have the ops staff to go with them, but I'm still building them up because in the future, I will have the ops staff to go with that lender partner, or I will have the system in place to go with that lender partner. And so I try, and then if I'm like, no, this is not seamless enough, it's not working, but I'm always going with AIM lenders. The reason for that is I believe when you have a voice that is larger than one little broker, right? And regardless of how many loans or whatever, you have a voice of so many leaders, and so not only leaders, I had another loan officer call me this week. Hey, look, I need help with this lender with this. Can you help me out? Not a problem. So you have that teamwork. So to me, when you work with AIM lenders, you're not only, in my mind, killing your competition, but you're also building up all of those brokers who work with you and all of those lenders who've now supported you. So you have all these lenders who came in, they've given us education, they've given us the platforms, they've given us the voice, and they're saying, we invest in you. Send them back business. It's that simple to me. So AIM lenders was huge for me. The Arrive platform was huge for me. I use lead pops. We get I think are 3 in today, leads from the different states that we're in. That's huge. To me, it's no cost. I look really fancy when somebody Googles my website. They're like, oh, your website's so nice. You're legit. Lead Pops does that for a minimal cost for us every month. What else do we use? So we use Lead Pops. We use, FinLocker. So FinLocker, what we've designed is every single time a client does an app, they'll get an automated email, and it downloads, it prompts them, as long as you do a credit app, we will take care of your FinLocker. So FinLocker is a financial tool. Today, I don't think is going to be as amazing. It will be in 12 months. So what it does is FinLocker will allow, and I'm not trying to sell you all any products, I just want y'all let y'all know in my brain. So it allows them to view their credit, income, and assets all on an app that, just like I would say QuickBooks for professionals, but with your credit. And it's really something. And then you can click tag my mortgage broker, call my mortgage broker, or whatever. And I think it looks up property values and all that. So I think it's an amazing tool that you're giving. So if I'm going to say you're my customer for life, I want you in the palm of your hand to have your basic financial, in all of your basic financial stuff in the palm of your hand. And so I think that's a huge tool. So for somebody who does a credit app with us, they get that for free. The other thing we use is HomeBot. I'm not going to lie. I have given that test to other LOs because I am, again, kind of getting out of the originating part. I'm trying to get myself out of that day-to-day part. But I've seen a lot of success with HomeBot, and I'm excited to see where that brings us. So we got HomeBot. We got, what else do we use, guys? Y'all, can you bring? I don't want to leave anybody out. We use Advantage Credit, again, another AIM lender. I would always consider myself the AIM poster child. Like, I was kind of right there in nobody else calls me that, but like, I was kind of right there in the birth of it all. And then like, I did exactly what they said. And then here we are. So, they said, use these lenders, we use these lenders. They said, use these vendors, we use these vendors. And it's not because like I said, and I also see the vision. So like FinLocker in 12 months from now is going to be fanatical. And now I already been working with them for 6 months. And so I can see 18 months down the road. So we got, what else do we use? So of course, Christine Beckwith is amazing. Vision for 2020. Who else takes money out of my account? That's so crazy. No, we have, I've kind of like given a lot of these things up. We use, DocuSign, the eFax. But I think that would be pretty much our biggest ones are the lead pops. I know I'm forgetting something big. Hold on. And it's not for lack of, that they aren't important to me. We did get away with the CRM that we were using because we just didn't feel like it was working. Oh, as a business owner, I use Gusto. And so I am on the concierge page for them. So they'll have the credit repair company. We use Sam Parker. We really appreciate Sam and all the education that he gives out to other people, which he just doesn't fill me around. Strategic compliance. So I went all in with the Gusto. I went all in with strategic compliance. And then, like I said, I'm paying them for my next 2 states just because I'm a hard-headed person and I wanted to learn how to do it myself. Of course, I pay for Zoom because that was always my thing. So, okay, let's talk about team meetings. So we do a pipeline meeting twice a week, as with all of my LOs. With schedules permitting, we've got LOs and support staff. We try to take 30 to 45 minutes to quickly run through all of the pipeline, what's needed, what's expected to close, what documents do we need. And then I also do a one-on-one call with my LOs every single week, on Zoom, face-to-face, 30 minutes to an hour, unless depending on needed. What do you need from me? What can I provide value? Like, how can I help you? What do we need? And that's kind of where I go from that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just, every single week, they probably, we talk way more than that, but those are scheduled calls that we do. We have a lot of exciting things in store they don't know about yet, so I'm excited. But, so the 1 hour a week face-to-face with each LO is important. And then the 2 pipeline calls a week that's just really quickly, what do we need to do? What do we got going? And then if we have, as needed more one-on-one, I do most of my training with Zoom. Even like, so for my newer people, you get on there, like we go back and forth. We're showing each other how to do it. What's the best? Yes. Sam Parker is amazing. So anyway, that's I would say our biggest tools. Again, I am learning. So we have detailed, like stuff that I worked on this weekend was detailed job descriptions. Now we're sending out on the pipeline meeting today at 3:00. And so it has the detailed job descriptions for every single applicator. I didn't do another one from another company. We started from scratch. One of my LOs listened to me ramble and then typed it all out. And then, it's something that we have as a pure guide to help everyone as they're growing. Now, every single loan officer will need different things. And so that's where that 101 hour with me of, do you need help with leads? Do you need help with, the processing end of it? Do you need, my other bigger thing is consumer education, loan officer education. So anybody who knows or has worked with me and even other lenders knows that I will harass you until you get me a training with your best trainer. Whoever's going to train your best employee, I want training with them, because I think we're only as good as the systems that we use. We have to know more about them. And so I'm really big on getting our lenders. They've offered us training. And so we get on the trainings with them and we learn about the system. We ask the questions, because to me, education is what's like, we can all bust our head against the wall and trying to figure this out on our own, or we can ask for help. Look, bam, I need training. And I'm tell you, every single lender that we've gotten, they've given us ample training plus more. And that's another big thing, is getting with UWM Success Track, getting your new employees signed up, having them attend to it. That's important. They have a rotating schedule. They have a whole staff of people. If you're new in the business, if you're not doing the Success Track, they are giving it to you. Show up. Let's see. We covered most everything that I can think of what I use daily for our tools. In Arrive. So we were using Trello. I didn't really like it. I felt like we were spending too much time. That's another thing. So like I've canceled out a lot of stuff. Canceled out the CRM, done. Canceled out. We were using Trello. I found we were wasting a lot of time perfecting a system that wasn't inside our system. When I go into Arrive, I'm like, bing, you have notes section. You can tag your employee. You can tag it to email out the borrower. It's giving status update reports. It's giving you lender update reports. It's got all the steps of the entire process from the lender side talking back to your POS. It saves me a lot of time. There's only one lender I use that's not in Arrive, and it's saving me a lot of time on that back end work when I'm doing my reporting, when I'm trying to do my profit and losses, when I'm doing all those things, because that information is already in there. So the only that one lender that I'm having to go back and manually add in. But again, we're going with AIM lenders. We stuck by that. I've never closed a loan without an AIM lender. And I don't plan on changing unless, I don't plan on changing. So, what else we got? I think that's it. I've rambled on and off. You'll know my brain just goes and goes.
Well, I definitely appreciate you giving out your information, because obviously there are certain things you use that make you successful and help you grow, and it's important for people to know what's out there for them to use. It may work better than what they're doing now, and CRM is important to a lot of people. I think it was Dave Savage said that he recommends to kids going into college to start a CRM, like just as a college kid. Every person you meet, take down their name, number, and email, and put it in a CRM. You never know in the future when you start whatever business you start, that you may be able to reach out to those people. So, create a CRM for your life.
We do use one. It's just we have built Arrive. They've built Arrives to where it's perfect for me. So, and yes, I pretty much store everything in CSV files already into. Right. Well, I'm stuck with Microsoft Outlook forever. No, I use Outlook with all my contacts. It syncs to my phone. And so it's super easy for me. But we do have Arrive has just built one. We built one and it's working for us. And so it's perfectly catered.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how the CRM or what the CRM is, even if it's a PowerPoint, even if it's a
Excel spreadsheet. I still got a lot of my data in Excel spreadsheets.
PowerPoint.
I gotta go.
That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do.
Yeah. Well, I enjoyed being here. I know I just ramble. I'm not like whatever. Y'all know me. I'll give away whatever I. As I continue to grow and learn, I will continue to share with everyone. And I appreciate everyone's support. I really couldn't make it without you guys.
Yeah, I appreciate you. You've always been insightful and helpful to me in my endeavors. Even though I may not know what I'm doing sometimes, you've been great to me, and I appreciate you joining us. To speak your mind. That's why people like you, because you're open and honest and straightforward. So I want to thank you for joining us, and we do have a couple sponsors that I want to mention that weren't able to make a presentation. So we have Mortflix, which is kind of like Netflix for the mortgage industry. And, he broadcasts. What's that?
Shoot. I said I helped him. I was one of his first things on that. Dang, I forgot about him. No, I remember when he came at me with the idea. He was like, "This is," and I'm like, "Yes, do it. I'll be a speaker.
Yeah. Yeah, he's doing good things with that. He was going to be on, but he had an emergency come up, so he couldn't make it. So, and then we also have Luke Darling. I don't know if anybody knows him. He was a sponsor for my last event. It's Automated Agent Academy, and he does great things with chatbots. And if you guys, are looking for chatbots, he's definitely the guy. He's the one that set up the chatbot for, this event, and definitely check him out. But it looks like we're running just on time. Does anybody have any more questions for Michelle before we turn the reins over to Ginger?
No, I can't wait for this one.
Oh, me too. She is a natural born speaker and trainer. So she has information to share. I always pay attention.
All right. It was great seeing y'all today. I got to get back to my real job after I watch Ginger.